back, surviving to thriving. Here we address how to move from struggle and just surviving in a world that's really too big, too fast, too loud, too busy, so busy, and just overall feeling too much, to a place of feeling calm and actually thriving as highly sensing people. And if you've been following me for a while, you know I prefer the term highly sensing to highly sensitive. It just comes across and is felt much better than sensitive. But that's what it's about, is sensitivity, high sensitivity. And it's really my hope that all highly sensing people will be able to stop hiding and feeling like they're wrong, that they need to be somehow different than they are, that they're playing small, stop needing to be less sensitive, and really come to honor their amazing, unique skills and their talents, to be able to embrace that nature, that sensitive nature, and be a gentle yet strong force in the world. So that's what we're all about here on Surviving to Thriving. And I always like to start, as you would know if you've been watching a few, is that with a quote, and usually it's two or three. Today I have a couple. And our topic today is on diversity. I did talk about neurodiversity last week. Today I'm going to broaden that slightly to just diversity in general, differences, looking at honoring differences. So the first quote is by Audre Lorde. It is not our differences that divide us. It is our inability to recognize, accept, and celebrate those differences. So that all seems to hit pretty true for me. And sometimes we don't seem to, as a culture, to put that acceptance out there for whatever people are bringing to the table. So being able to celebrate the differences instead of that need to make people different or to see a disparity of some kind. Then the next quote is, we don't need a melting pot in this country. We need a salad bowl. In a salad bowl, you put in different things. You want the vegetables, the lettuce, the cucumbers, the onions, the green peppers. Not in my case, but some people, to maintain their identity. You appreciate the differences. And that is from Jane Elliott. The quote ends there, but going on from that, those differences are what give vibrancy to what that meal is, right? That salad that has all of those different flavors, we can taste them all independently, and then together they make this amazing salad, this amazing experience to be shared or enjoyed ourselves. So I just really liked that quote. It sums up kind of where I'm going with this episode today. I mean, the world is really, really incredibly diverse. And the natural world, the human world, I mean, all of it. And what a boring place it would be if everything was all the same. What if we always had salads for dinner and we always had the exact same thing in the salad and you could never tell what the difference was from one thing to the other? Every biteful tasted exactly the same. Well, boring. And then eventually we probably don't even want to be eating anymore. Yet many, if not most of us, seem to work really hard to be just like others, like those that we assume, due to our programming or our experiences, are somehow better or have it better than we do. So we do a lot to try to emulate what we think we should be instead of honoring who we are. So why do we not try to more often celebrate and strengthen what makes us unique? Our differences bring so much to the world, just like all of the ingredients of that salad. Again, it would be really boring if everyone, every salad, everything was all the same. Even I talked last time about having your favorite place in nature to go. And if everyone wanted the exact same thing, of course, all at the exact same time would be very challenging as well. But if everything was exactly the same, then we would either not have room for all of us to be there enjoying all of that, or it would just be so commonplace and no big deal anymore because it was always the same. But we want that diversity. We want to be able to go out and enjoy different parts of nature, or the things that really resonate with us, even if they don't mean anything to somebody else. So having that uniqueness, that difference to celebrate instead of trying to make it, fit into a little box. And as children, we often grow up trying to be grown up, right? We're kids. Well, we want someday I'm going to be a grown up and I want to get there. I want to get there quickly. And we didn't want to be treated or seen as childlike or children, which is what we were, right? A lot of people were kids, or even now, of course, are trying to be more grown up and be somehow different instead of just enjoying being a kid. And as adults, we can wish that we could go back and be children again. Some of that's to not have so many responsibilities, sure, but also just to be in that childlike place where everything's curiosity and excitement and newness and differences. So we work hard to conform ourselves to what we see as expected, what that status quo is, instead of celebrating what we are, who we are. So when was the last time that you celebrated you for who you are, not having any buts or discounting anything that you would mention about you, and really celebrated those unique traits and differences? Have you ever actually done that at all? Or do you find yourself always trying to fit in with some expectation, some idea of perfection, which that's another topic, of course, and I have talked about that. There is no perfection. It's different for everybody, but we can never get there, right? So if we're always trying to be better, different than we are, as in what I am, what I offer is not okay, not accepting our individual differences, then we're just discounting ourselves. We can't be authentic. We can't be our true selves when we're always trying to be someone else. And sometimes people, while growing up, or even in adulthood, in some relationships or work environments, hear that they should be more like so-and-so, or at least be more a certain way. And what an awful thing to say to someone, right? You need to be different. You need to do this way. You need to be like this person. It's horrible, right? But it happens, and we're reinforced in our culture for trying to fit in, trying to be just right the way others want us to be. And eventually that idea of what others want us to be becomes what we think we want to be, so that we can fit in and fulfill those expectations. So why can't we just allow everyone to be their unique selves, to make their own choices according to what resonates and inspires, and to just be authentic? But as a rule, we don't accept that in everyone. So it's no surprise that we don't also allow ourselves to do the same thing. And that gets reinforced constantly, whether that's through the social arena or media, family expectations. All of that tends to just reinforce that idea. So in what ways are you different than those that you know, or than most people, or maybe even different than anyone else that you know? You might not be able to even identify one little thing that makes you so unique, because you spent so much time downplaying it or trying to eradicate it completely in order to fit in or be just right. So would your best friend or partner or a colleague be able to identify something about you that's unique that you haven't been acknowledging, let alone honoring? That's probably more likely than you recognizing it yourself, because you have spent so much time pushing it down. And sometimes we just need to reframe our thoughts. So probably you can recall something that someone told you that you need to change, a way you should be different. And if you were to look at that, how could you see it in a different way, and maybe even help the other person see it in that new way? So for example, if you were told, or that you somehow just believe that you're too picky, say, can you reframe that to being very discerning and aware of your needs or those of others, and finding those to be important? And how can that help you and others? Making sure that you're comfortable goes a long way toward being who you want to be for others. And if you want things to be just right for someone else, that will certainly make things easier or more enjoyable for them. If you're totally aware and you say, no, that's important, we need to pay attention to that, instead of just letting it go or ignoring it, that's going to have an impact. So in that example, you could choose to believe that it's just best for you to not voice your preferences, to not rock the boat, and everyone will just be happy. They won't be telling you anymore that you need to be different. But who suffers with that? You in the short term, for sure. But long term, it'll trickle down to someone else, and you'll stay locked in that place of denying your true essence, because you're always looking for it to be better somehow, more like someone or something else. So why not celebrate that you have this amazing awareness and this ability to recognize what's best for you or others, especially when others don't see it? And this ability can help you in so many ways, in relationships and work, in your friendships. Everything works better when you can be more authentic, acknowledge these skills that you have, these parts of you, and not push them down. And a side note on this is that it takes a lot of energy and resources, individual personal resources, to maintain some kind of a facade, to hide the true self. So it can be really exhausting. Everyone knows the phrase keeping up with the Joneses, right? And this doesn't just refer to, having all the money and success and all the right stuff. It's about needing to keep in line with the expected and always getting better, doing more, getting more, being somehow more like this perfect image of what we're supposed to be. And yeah, that's very, very tiring. And then when we're overwhelmed and in this constant state of discontent, always striving, never good enough, it's all, I have to be perfect, that can't ever happen, then our systems stay in that fight or flight mode. And then we can develop illness and all kinds of other, examples of discontent. I mean, like nothing happens that we like in the way we want. Things just don't flow very well if we're holding back from who we really are. And if you shut down all of those differences and try to go with the status quo or what makes others happy, you remove that amazing talent from the world. And then everyone and everything is a bit poorer for it because they don't have that to experience anymore. So anytime you catch yourself thinking that you need to be more like someone else or do what everyone else does or what they want, you can take a step back, take a moment, and ask yourself, do I want this because it resonates? Or is it a should? Is it something in order to fit in or to minimize certain feelings? A lot of times if we go with someone, their idea, what they want us to do, then we don't have to acknowledge and address the frustration or the hurt feelings or whatever are coming up because we're not being honored or recognized. And so it's easier to just shove that down, shove the feelings down, shove those thoughts down and say, I'll just do what everyone wants me to do. But we can't sustain that in a positive way. So when you do realize it's not resonating, then you can identify what does resonate. What works for you in that moment or that situation? What difference do you bring to the table that ultimately will help or create something great? Then once you realize what that is, then you celebrate it. Acknowledge why your skill or trait or this difference is amazing and honor yourself for being authentic and not trying to just conform. And yes, this might cause some discomfort in others. There might be some pushback. If you're not towing the line, but you and everyone else will ultimately be better for it. But at first it can be a little tricky. People can get their buttons pushed if suddenly, when you always acquiesce, when you don't, there's a little glitch there sometimes. Like, whoa, wait a minute. You're supposed to just agree and go along with it or change and do it the way I see it. So when we switch that kind of stuff up, like setting boundaries in general, that tends to have a lot of kickback because it disrupts that status quo. It makes changes that people are not expecting. So we have to be prepared for that. And just remember that sometimes it's uncomfortable to make changes. And just imagine if everyone was their true self all of the time, life would be very different. And if we came to accept everyone's differences rather than expecting sameness, life would be much more harmonious. I think it would also be a lot more enjoyable, a lot more relaxed, so many different ways that it would be improved if we all just acknowledged and even celebrated how we're all different. And with everything else, as with everything else, it starts with us, with ourselves. We can learn to honor ourselves, to act authentically by honoring our differences, even strengthening them, finding those things that make us so different that other people are not so sure about, but honoring them and saying, oh no, this is really good. This is important. How can I actually make that more impactful? Really, really powerful. If we can first honor that ourselves and then say, okay, I'm going to do more with this instead of hiding it. And if this seems totally out of reach, please do connect and see how we might work together to help you on that journey towards self-acceptance. Because it's so much easier to go through life feeling true to yourself rather than trying to be what we think somebody else wants us to be. So before we wrap up, I just thought I would do a little visualization with you. So if you are able to do this and you want to do this, go ahead and just settle yourself in and close down your eyes, or you can just stare off in front of you, looking down a little bit if that's more comfortable. And if anything I say is irritating or doesn't gel for you, I'm going to try to give a couple different examples, but just take as much as you can, depending on how you're perceiving everything. So go ahead and just take some nice deep breaths. And whatever your way is of connecting with the earth, of grounding, of feeling really solid and centered, maybe that's sending a root down to the core of the earth. Maybe it's feeling really connected where you're sitting right now, paying attention to how your body and the chair, the cushion is connected. Really allow yourself to feel settled and grounded. And then go ahead and imagine, if you can, whether that's visualizing or feeling it in your body, that you are standing in the middle of a huge, beautiful wildflower meadow. The sun is shining, unless you don't like the sun. Whatever the environment is that you like the best, that's where you're at. And take a moment and just imagine that as you're seeing all of these flowers around you, you are actually one of those flowers. And if that's kind of hard to get into, just imagine that you are looking at one in particular that really speaks to you, that really stands out for you. So imagining from that place of being that flower or seeing that flower, take a moment to see what that flower is like. What are you like, or the one you're looking at? How does it feel? Is there a texture? What color? What shape? Just enough to recognize this is me specifically. This is my unique self as this flower. And now take a moment from your little flower face to scan again all the way around this beautiful meadow and just take in everything that is around there. Just imagine, if you are not seeing this visually, how different everything will be if there are unlimited types of flowers in this garden, this meadow. And if you see it visually as you're looking around, just notice the differences, all the different colors and shapes, sizes. Everything around you is just so diverse. There's so many examples of flower, what flower means. They're all around you. And everything is unique. Everything is vibrant. And you are part of that big meadow. And just take a moment for that to kind of settle in. allowing your breathing to be nice and steady and slow. And just be aware of how that feels to be your own unique self in this huge meadow of other flowers. There are similarities, there are differences. And you are unique. And then imagine what would happen if you were sitting outside of yourself, looking at you as the flower. And what would happen if you weren't there? There would be a space there that's not filled. And the unity of that whole meadow would be disrupted just from that one little flower. Or if that flower were to be exactly like the one next to it, it would probably stand out because suddenly there's two of the same. But you notice more all of the diversity of every other flower around there, how many different ones there are. So being back into that flower as yourself, or looking at the one that you've chosen, just see how that feels to really honor being that one unique flower, and yet how you meld in, how you fit in to the bigger meadow. You're in this place in the perfect spot that you're supposed to be. And whatever type of flower you are is perfect for where you are. So just let that settle for another breath or two, feeling grounded and connected with the earth, feeling that uniqueness, celebrating what that's like to be this important, integral part of this amazing meadow, this amazing environment. And then when you're ready, you can come back to the physical place that you're in right now, paying attention to the seat below you, to anything happening around you in the room. You can wiggle your fingers and toes, just being aware of your body and space. And I hope that just gave you an extra little something to connect with your own individuality, your own uniqueness in a way that you can celebrate. So if you can do that every single day, to celebrate something about you that makes you you, even if, and especially if, it's very different than others. Well, as always, thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. And please do reach out if you have any questions or thoughts about content, or want to actually connect and see about maybe working together to be in a better place, and especially honoring your unique self. Thank you very much, and we will see you again next time.